locked in my room, 4 black walls, tied the noose, no recall, no result, fuck withdraw, rather shoot up till I fall. Murder on call with the 5-9, 20 years and it seems like a lifetime. I've been hanging every day from a lifeline. Why these fuckers tell her dinner every nighttime? Smoking that dope off the floor, let me blow. Hopefully don't come, don't fuck with y'all. Spray paint the walls with blood and whatever. Drag you outside, let you rot in the weather. I don't think I can explain any better. I'm scarecrow to terror and live for the lesson. My birth was an error.
Dying the Lord of every dance. I lost my breath, just fuck with them. They said he up in the bed. Calling my rope in my neck and I woke up choking from the hole in my chest. Some at my bed in the fucking the dope every day. Got a lump in my throat and I feel my locos smoke. I'm flooding the fuck off these souls and they're pumping their throat. Get the fuck away from me. I hate all of you. Thankfully this world was never made for me. Thankfully I'm trying to see past all the lies, the righteous sins. I'll shake my knees and walk the plank and freeze.
Letting a new day begin. Hold to the time that you know.
Bitches know I got the vendetta. Rolling up the letter, suicidal pen letters. Gone and roll the credit, swerving in a Chevy, ready to land them hollow points. I'm coming for the fetty. I hate to disappoint you, slaves me down in gray and black. Low out, riding in my grandma's Cadillac. Popping rocks, he's got 100 in my backpack. Full moon, so my eyes looking jet black. Just move back.
Here I come to paint the gray. Good look like I drop a pile of dashes like the blonde and fucking fade away. Took a minute to get it lit and then needed more to get it finished. Sipping Gatorade to take a ray. I rape the blade and blame the flame. I save the fame for later days. A gator change up in the lake. But burly fucking gaining brain. I train the pain by draining cake. I aim to rain, my vein is stained. I say the same, I never change. Don't pop champagne, I make okay. I stay away from flashing lights. I pay my way straight to the bank.
Play me some of that suicide pimping, man.
You motherfuckers pitiful, I'm too sick of you. I'm a walking visual, you boys refillable, unforgivable. Once you cross me, ho, now you a motherfucker, stain a little cut though. Let the go back, nuts, take drug game, ain't the same. Savage tatted on my face, great, ayy. Please while we hot box, fuck a badge, fuck a cop, even if they K-hop. Watch me bust on any block. North side, naughty scope on the shot, send me blow your body. Tony gripping all the time, bitch. I bite the head off a bad like a Mozzie. You got a problem, motherfucker, come and try me. I'm nothing like what you punk boys wanna embody. North, east side, 5'9", Tony grip it time. Fuck around, end up with your body all top. cops. I be there walking zombie bad souls, eating bodies. 3 choppers in the shot, shooting everybody. Cigarette wet, bumping boosty badass. On them drugs, jigging jaws, got clench. Trigger finger itching. If you think I'm kidding, smoke leaking from the sticky that we smoking, boy. Fuck a backwoods, which is what I use, boy. Smoke what I choose, do what I wanna do. Motherfuck you and your punk friends too.
Ruby, long leg, long edge, bitch, I like the sting. Smoking potent, thinking I'm the chosen one, bitch, I'm a king. I can hear my dad, homie, sing. Now my eyes always hurting, wiping tears with diamond rings, yeah, hey.
Hold the fuck, boy, who the fuck said we cool? Man, I quit smoking with hypebeast back in 2002. What it do? Motherfucker, I'm a fool. Ruby the cherry is going up and got until you got a bottom, then you better move. From the boom to the tomb, busting out early, busting out soon. Back out the city, I'm back on the 30s, in about 20 minutes, we'll be on the moon.
Drugs got me fucked up, slugs got me drugged up, fuck. Slap my face against a built across shit up. Government ID helps me get high, seeing stars in the mirror like I'm looking with a pipe in. Lime green paint, but the rims looking sparkly. Mighty sloppy, might be cocky, am I in the right? Say highly unlikely, and I'm willing to fucking bet.
Leave a pussy wet, then I leave a pussy wet. I'm a fucking vet, I'm a motherfucking threat. G59 the set, G59 will make you sweat. I don't give a fuck, it's my fucking epithet. Lace up my Nike dead gauge, BBM, Devon's gaze, every word by the leg to my death.
You come off of your drunken stupor from Bourbon Street Saturday night, get up in time to go to Mass on Sunday morning, and you tell God you're sorry for your drunkenness, only to go back out tonight and get wasted again.
Sipping lean, caffeine with codeine. I'm smoking nicotine. PCP, pills in my cuisine. I'm fucking Drake the sway. Wrist dismay, suicide, renegade. Pop a couple waves up in my grave. Carving my skin with a blade. I don't fuck with squillers. No drug dealer. Stealer with the sealer. Slicker that always wreck. Bitch get checked. Great 5-9 to set. Chop 'em, make 'em wet. Watch me flex. Y'all just second best, never second guess. Manifest, stripper, 6 till death.
Me ain't my motherfucking true name. If I roll it down, it will combust into a blue flame. Blue gang banging out cruise lane. Body in the suitcase, polo body bag full of bootlegs. Two-face bitch, sick of duck like your bitch, lay it goose eggs. 2 fangs, going got a 2-day. Tie me up like a shoestring. Let the new sang out of my box. I need a new frame. Ruby the cherry ain't got a pocket full of fruitcake. Bruce Wayne wonder big. Fuck with me, I'll probably give you something free. Honey surrounding around me, cause I'm buzzing like a fucking bumblebee. Most of my raps are fucking tongue in cheek. Fungus in my lungs, got the rings from the weed. Another day, another feat. All the fucking dirt, you will find me underneath.
All right, my friends, welcome, welcome. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Good to see that the autists are in the chat. Welcome. All right, you nan. Gonna get settled for a second, and then we'll get going here very shortly. The fuck is this? How do you have a check mark in your name? You must be special. All right, my friends. Let me know how the background music is, and then we'll get started here very shortly. So today, going to run through a lot of our standard stuff, and then weave in a couple of new things. Going to talk about Bitcoin macro, medium time frame outlook. We'll talk about meme coins. We'll maybe talk about cartel scalping a little bit here and there. We'll obviously answer any questions. Please do me a favor and keep the tickers out of the chat until we actually get to the altcoin section. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming to the stream. Before I get started, obligatory like request. If you could do me a favor, press that like button. 90 of you in here and 18 likes. It really helps us out with the algo. Trying to be an account that actually helps out newer people instead of just shilling them shitcoins to buy that I have a private seal allocation on. Press like or you're gonna get cooked by the CPI tomorrow. Okay, so you guys should know the drill. I would prefer it if you guys keep the questions and topics relevant to what I'm currently discussing, but in general, if there's anything that you guys want to have us talk about, just throw it in the chat and I'll always do my best to cover it. Or just tell you that you're retarded, one of the two. The one constant in life. Alright, so let's do a super quick rundown on the high time frame. There isn't going to be a whole lot that I'm going to be updating on this, but we'll just rehash where we're at and see if there's any sort of new insights I can share. So TLDR is going to be that we're obviously still in an uptrend. If you were to not look at the chart at all and just look at social media, you would think that we were down, that Bitcoin was down at, trading at $20,000 based off sentiment. Everybody is down horrendous. I guess that just goes to show that people are still terrible at picking altcoins. It's wild that there's, a good amount of education out there for how you can filter and sort out strength, and people are still bad at it. That's pretty, I'm reminded of this every time I do a stream, and the tickers that get requested that we look at are just dog shit from, 6 years ago and stuff. So you guys really need to listen up when people share how to sort and filter altcoins. You really should try to pay attention more. It is in your best interest. This is the current meta is that, 5% of altcoins or less do well. 95+% do terribly, even when Bitcoin is trending up. I actually saw this morning and thought this was pretty funny. When Bitcoin was like 25K, Matic was $1, and now Bitcoin is at 61K, and Matic is at 60 cents. Which honestly made me, I saw that this morning, and that shit made me laugh, because, anyways, I like laughing at other people's pain, I guess. I'm a toxic piece of shit. Alright, so let me get focused here. Essentially, the key takeaway on high time frame is we're still in a macro uptrend. I don't think that there's any reason to get overly worried about the trend being over yet. I think that we're going to continue to build out this range. The macro range is roughly between 60 and 69K. There's a more detailed range that we'll look at later, but from a macro standpoint, that's more or less where price is stuck between 60 and 69K. I think that we're going to continue to see bloody chop over the next couple of months, and eventually we're going to see the volatility kind of resume and the trend pick up again, and we'll see fresh highs. So that's my overall thesis. I'm risk off right now. I have a pretty fat hedge on to protect myself. Still holding all my core positioning that I don't want to sell, just because significant majority of my holdings are from, you know, really low. My highest Bitcoin buy is this cycle were 25K, so definitely don't want to be fucking around with any of the core positioning stuff. It's just a lot more sensible and cost effective to just slap on a hedge. So that's what I did. I hedged out, like, I don't know, 10 days ago now or something like that, maybe a little bit less, maybe 9 days, and feeling pretty comfy right now. I think as far as levels go, obviously 60K is the main level you want to be paying attention to. I'll probably spend more time on this on medium time frame, but essentially I think that we're going to attack these lows again in the not so distant future. I don't really see us going too much lower though than the local lows that we've already set. You know, you're going to see a lot of consensus around us trading into this region right here. You know, call it 52K. I think that the two obvious scenarios are that we either front run that or we blast through it and trade much lower. I really think that the front run scenario is more probable, but it is important to always account for all possibilities. So I really don't think that this is going to be the local low for the trend by any means. We'll either front run it or trade much lower, in my opinion, which I can definitely consider us. We've probably already set the lows, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying that we won't trade slightly lower than 56.5, but I think that that is where the bottoming structure will form. So just real quick, I'm not a fractal guy or anything. I don't really care about any of that kind of stuff, but I am a big fan of cyclicality with seasons and stuff and kind of repeating similar scenarios. So I really think this is more or less where we're at right now, right? The beginning of, you know, the Q1 of 2023 was explosive, a lot of momentum, big, you know, lifting of the boats, if you will. I think that as we've progressed into the summer, we're just going to see this more and more. We've already, in my opinion, hit the peak for volatility for this summer, which was the news event selling like 4 weeks ago now. Maybe it was actually closer to 5 because it was like mid-April. So that's going to be the peak of volatility, in my opinion, for the summer. And I think that we're more or less playing out like we did in Q2 of last year, just chopping downwards. Eventually, it'll hit a bottom. It'll probably kind of come back up and test supply again, and then maybe it'll do another stab. Who knows, right? So we'll either bottom. These are terrible drawings. We'll either bottom out like this and have that be the lows, or maybe we'll take another stab at it again. But yeah, I mean, the key takeaway for the macro outlook is that you guys need to be focused on survival right now. I feel very confidently that by the end of the year that we'll be trading up in a big way, but a lot of people are going to get shipped out on the stretcher in the time being. I think the main culprit for that is going to be over allocation to alts and trying to make money when you really shouldn't be overly focused on that right now, right? If you're in Bitcoin and Solana, kind of, you know, larger cap safe things, you're going to be fine. If you're, you know, heavily allocated to shitcoins, though, a lot of the pain has probably already come, but there's probably more, you know, more in the near future here, right? If Bitcoin attacks these lows, which we'll look at this more detail oriented here in a minute, but if Bitcoin attacks these lows like I think we will, your altcoins are going to get pummeled during that. So take a moment to catch up with chat here, and then we'll get into some more stuff. So I should sell my Link bag. I don't think that Link looks terrible. I haven't looked at it in a while, though. We'll give it here, and we'll look at Link once we get to altcoins. We think about Pendle. Yeah, you guys are already asking about tickers. Last I looked at Pendle, it was in a really strong pullback. but the larger trend on Pendle was really strong. Please no tickers yet. Likes only. Confirmed. Now you're good. 9% CPI tomorrow. Wouldn't that be coming in over expectations? I hope we front run. I'll lose my shit if we drop harder. I fucked up bad with low caps. Slash pray. That makes me think that we trade lower though. Anytime somebody says something like that, it makes me think we go lower. Do you think it's possible that the bottom for the next bear market is 65K? What? Do I think it's possible that the bottom for the next bear market is 65K area since so much volume was traded there? So you're saying if we trade up a fuck ton and then the next bear market bottom is 65K is what you're saying, I think. Do I think that's possible? Of course it's possible because anything is possible. But that's like, so I assuming you actually mean we go up first, right? Yeah, I mean, this is so far out of the realm of anything, you know, that I could actually say. Is it possible? For sure it's possible. Would I sit here confidently and say that's what it's going to look like? Definitely not. In a jungle watching my net worth plummet by the millions, I feel nothing. Classic fucking Angelo tweet. Study Magus, study autism. For sure. Memeing bro, 9% was the peak from 2022. Dude, I don't remember what those numbers fucking looked like. I sold the top last cycle and then pretended I did it because the CPI. In reality, I just sold everything because my balls tingled. Would you mind explaining the 2021 value area high line represents? So these are just VWAP lines, right? So, you know, this is the 2021 VWAP. This is the value area high for it. So if you look at, right, like the current value area high for the year is 68K. Current value area low for the year is 47K. That's all those levels are. They're just higher time frame VWAPs. That's how I do most of my high time frame levels, are either comps or VWAP levels, and then sometimes I do like standard support and resistance. I guess let's say you did everything as perfectly as you can. I see your name, so I'm already worried to read the rest of this because everything you say is troll. You're in cozy positions, but funding rates get ridiculous. Would you keep holding or close it out or hedge? Oh, that's actually a reasonable question. So, right, the only contracts that you trade that are going to have funding are going to be perps, right? And perps should be looked at as much more of a medium time or a lower to medium max time frame mechanism for trading. Definitely don't recommend any swing trading on perps. If you want to swing trade, 90% of you should be doing spot only. Maybe 5 to 10% of you can weave in futures to increase your exposure at key moments. So to answer your question, if you're comfy in position but funding rates are getting ridiculous, you should definitely consider closing. The main thing to pay attention to though is there momentum in the market, right? So the way I always explain that is that if funding rates are flat, or let's say if funding rates are up, right? So funding is up. Funding's trending up, the market's getting expensive. You have two examples. Price is up, price is sideways. If price is going sideways and funding is going up, that's a very serious risk. You are paying to not make money right now. And added to that is all the extra risk associated with other people's positioning. Which this makes, you know, when price is sideways and funding is up, the likelihood of a puke in the market is much higher than if the market is up and funding is up. So the TLDR is if you're getting paid to be long, then it's not nearly as big of a deal. You just need to make sure that those costs are justifiable, right? It's just, you know, a business expense more or less. So you should look at it. This year, my biggest trade of the year so far has been on WIF. I took a WIF trade in February and I I held it for like a week and a half. And the funding payments were absolutely insane. I was paying like a couple $1,000s a day to be long. But, you know, it was justifiable when it's going up, you know, 250% in a week, right? So that's how you should look at that. Is the expense justifiable? And then also think about the added risk associated with other people who maybe aren't in comfy positions that are paying that funding and increase the likelihood of big pukes. Motherfuckers worrying about the next bear market bottom and then go back to watching the 1 minute chart. Confirmed. What do you think are SECs doing with all these shitcoins since they got squeezed and down only? Will they be delisted? Some will, right? It's basically an inevitability that some of these shitcoins that exist today will be delisted. I mean, why are you even asking me that question though? Like, you know, well, what are we going to get out of knowing if they're going to be delisted or not? If coins are susceptible to being delisted, you shouldn't even be trading that shit anyways, right? The coins that are susceptible to getting delisted are dog shit coins, right? And we should be trading legit, larger, more liquid coins for the most part. If you want to trade dog shit, just go trade on chain. Can you break down Contango and backwardation? I have an indicator that shows that I don't really want to pull up. So yeah, I mean, I have a video. Maybe Lear can link the video because he's Chad like that. But pretty simple explanation for Contango and backwardation is that Contango is when futures are ahead of spot. Backwardation is when spot is below or ahead of futures, right? So if this is spot, right? If futures are trading ahead of, right, that's going to be Contango. If futures are trading below spot, it's backwardation. So it's pretty straightforward, right? Significant majority of time, in crypto at least, futures will almost always trade in backwardation, or in Contango. Backwardation really only takes place on extremely volatile pukes and if the market is like max pessimistic, but it's very, you know, very uncommon to see sustained backwardation. So when you're in a bull trend, backwardation, at least last cycle, I haven't really seen it this cycle. Last cycle, whenever futures backwardated was the local low while we were trending up. Is this the cycle top? All right, yeah, so let's talk about that. Because that's what that's getting discussed a lot recently. So in my opinion, no, right? And, you know, I'm not wrong. The way that I look at things, I don't really care. Like, the way that I'm looking at this is even price doing this, right, would mean that it's not, the cycle top's not in, right? So this is all subject to change if there's, you know, if I get a different read in this range while we're developing, but I would consider it to be a lower probability that the cycle top is in. I'm definitely not interested in betting on that, right? It's not like I'm trying to sell everything off, right? I've done that before. I did that in 2021 in November, and I'm gonna try to do it again, obviously, but I don't think we're there yet. So I think that we're gonna have a sustained period of sideways, which is gonna really hurt people and make people slowly lose their faith and get more and more convinced that the cycle is over. But I don't think it is. To counter argument myself, like let's what are the arguments for why the cycle top is in? I don't really see anything. Like the only kind of cycle top arguments that could really be considered are, one, the lack of narrative. We don't really have a great narrative to push price forward anymore. And from a price structuring standpoint, you could technically say that like the trend is maybe reached maximum velocity, and then if it doesn't, you know, ever have any bullish reclaims, that it could be over. I don't really believe that that's the case, but just it's important to always play devil's advocate when you're trying to determine what's going to happen, and not just blindly believe one thesis. So that's pretty much how I view that. There is a possibility, but I definitely consider it to be a much higher chance that we trade up higher at the end of the year. One of the really only things that makes me concerned about that thesis is that it's just becoming very prevalent. I mean, unironically, you saw fucking Raoul Paul, that idiot, saying the same kind of thing. He even had some fucking dumb term he called it the banana cycle or some shit like that. I mean, that is definitely concerning when I see idiots like that having the same plan as me. But it kind of, you know, not that I'm going to sit here and call myself 160 IQ, right? But it's kind of the IQ distribution meme playing out where idiots and non-idiots are on the same page, and it's just the people in the middle that are sitting there crying about things. So I'll digress from that. I'm gonna catch up with chat a little bit more, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Motherfuckers be typing today. Okay, so I'm assuming that this is referring to scalping. You said you want consistent 5-minute tick rates of greater than 10,000 to validate a coin for scalping or intraday. How long does it have to hold over 10K before you're ready to hop in? So yeah, so that's a good question. When I say the 10K tick rate or higher, that's just a general kind of eyeball measurement. It's not anything super serious. Generally, how I will look at that stuff is then I will, once I see a high tick rate on the 5-minute, then I will zoom out to the other time frames and look at like 15-minute and hourly to see if that they have a high tick rate as well. So if it has a high tick rate on the hourly and it has a high tick rate on the low time frame as well, that would be kind of a big check for me. But the key is that you want sustained tick rates over a longer period of time, right? You don't want any sort of, you know, random spike. It's very common for lower liquidity coins to have like a big puke in the market, and all of a sudden it skyrockets up to 50,000 ticks because all these people got liquidated, and then it goes right back down to 2,000 ticks again 10 minutes later. You don't want to be trading that, obviously. So TLDR, you're looking for sustained tick rates. What indicator do you use for it on TradingView? You're talking about Contango Backwardation. So in the Paragon group, we have our own custom one that we just remastered. We just remastered all of our indicators. So we have an updated private one. I'm in position on some alts like PEPE or Render where I'm up 10x on my spot buys. Is it where it makes sense to sell some for Bitcoin or too early in the cycle? Pretty rough for me to give like a really good answer for you on that, to be honest. You know, PEPE and Render have been really strong, so if you're up on them 10x or more, then congrats, dude, for sure. How you sell them is totally up to you. Personally, what I would probably be doing is I probably would have scaled partially out and kept some of it. You know, something as simple as maybe selling half, something like that potentially. That would definitely set you up to feel pretty comfy and safe in those trades. The alternative is to hedge them. But definitely don't let yourself round trip on that stuff. I mean, luckily PEPE and Render are really good plays. Those are very strong altcoins, so at least you did a good job of picking winners. So definitely give yourself a pat on the back for that. Just continue to monitor both of them, and if they look weaker on higher time frame, then maybe protect yourself. Hedging is always my go-to. Not that I really hedge all that often, but if I want to protect myself, that's how I'm going to do it. If you've been sidelined, believe this is a good opportunity to scale into high conviction coins. I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement. Yeah, I think as long as you're really selective about what altcoins you pick, then yes, right? If you know how to filter out for strong altcoins that have good narratives, etc., then I do think that as we continue to bleed people out during the summertime, that building up positions on those kind of plays is probably going to work pretty well for you. The caveat is that you have to A, be good at filtering coins that are actually strong, and B, have plans for how you're going to protect yourself and what it will look like if you're wrong and stuff too. You don't want to just mindlessly buy these things and then have no plans for what it looks like if you're wrong. Double cycle top looking for 2025 unless back-to-back claws, swabs, black swans. What the fuck is that? Claws, swabs. The likelihood that we get another black swan event super low, guys. Very, very, very low. One Paragon discount. Check out Charlie's stream today. He's actually going to be doing a discount for signups. He'll be doing a stream in like 3 hours or something like that. Hey there, which fib level tends to act as support during significant? So I'm just gonna stop you right there. I don't believe in fibs, my friend. For levels, everything I do is TPO levels, VWAPs, basic supply and demand. You know, and that's pretty much it, right? Like TPO levels, volume profile levels, VWAPs, supply and demand, some simple support and resistance, but I don't believe in using Fibonacci's, my brother. To each their own, though. Last time GME and meme stocks ran, crypto started after GME topped. I think GME pumping is some sort of sign for liquidity entering the system. Not really. So I don't really buy into that as much as you're like that kind of forced narrative that you're seeing on Twitter. The main thing that we have going against us for the whole meme narrative is just that the aggregate of the market and our benchmark Bitcoin is weak, right? So like, yes, yesterday, like my whole altcoin portfolio or meme coin portfolio bounced a lot yesterday. I mean, like fucking PEPE, my PEPE went up like 20 something % yesterday. So I would love for that to be the case where memes like come back in a big way. I have a lot of meme exposure and I'm all for it going up. I'm not convinced though that narrative is really going to take hold. And again, the main reason why is because it's summertime and the market is largely risk off right now. Yeah, the banana zone. Very concerning when my thesis is the same as somebody that's retarded. That always makes me a little bit worried. Please teach us how funding works. Bruh. I don't know. I am a man of the people. Alright. This is how funding works. It's the price of your spot asset. And this is the price of your perp. Holy shit, man. Right? This is your base asset, right? This is Bitcoin. If perpetuals for Bitcoin are trading above spot, that means funding is going to be positive, which means that you will be paying to be long on Bitcoin. If perps for Bitcoin are trading below spot, that means that funding is negative, and that means you will be getting paid to be long Bitcoin. It's just the reciprocal for shorts. You guys gotta make sure you understand these basic concepts like that. I mean, that should be pretty common knowledge nowadays. I definitely put out a lot of threads and videos and shit to explain that stuff. It's crazy, and I'm not even trying to single you out, so just like don't even think that this has anything to do with you specifically. This is a generalized statement. You guys have got to know how the instruments that you trade work. I know that perps are super simple, and you just fucking click buy or click sell for the most part, but you still should understand the basic ideas, because like, not on Bitcoin, on liquid assets, funding's not going to really fuck you up. But on the less liquid assets, specifically coins that are very, very hot and highly traded at the moment, if you don't pay attention to funding and you sit in trades for too long, it can fuck you up. I'm not exaggerating when I say that my whiff trade in February, I was paying thousands of dollars a day to be long. And it worked out, right? It was a calculated risk, and like, just like I look at it as a business expense because the thing went up like almost 300% in the time that I was in it. But yeah, TLDR, if you don't know what funding is, go watch a fucking video or read a thread or something. You gotta fucking know that. To be honest, March 2021 would have been the top if Sam Bankman wouldn't have scammed price. Yeah, I don't agree with you on that, dude. But I think that narrative that the FTX just lifted price from the summertime lows back up to the highs is an overly simplistic way of looking at it. What's wrong with Raoul Pal's view? I mean, nothing specifically, because I more or less have the same view as him. It's just the idea that I don't want to be on the same side of a trade as him. A lot of the things that he said over the years have been really, really dumb. So I don't want to be on the same side as him with things. Low volume nodes as well, yeah. Samarath. Klaus Schwab is the Sith Lord of the economic... Oh, is that big fat guy, huh? The guy that looks like he ate his competitors. Got it. You've been scalping this local range, high volume, mean reverts, pretty good for scalps. The only scalping I do is on altcoins. I'll do intraday on Bitcoin. I've taken a little bit of intraday. Any chance you could show an example of a scalp you would take? Maybe later in the video. I don't even think that right now is a good opportunity for scalping. I think that the coins I'll look to scalp like aren't really moving right now. But here, simple explanation is that contrary to what you hear from other people, which is that like reversion is probably how people think scalping should work, I actually pretty much only momentum scalp for the past like year and a half. All my scalping is momentum, where I identify a trend and I just play the trend. So for example, last year when I did a huge amount of scalping in Q3, TRB was just trending up. So all I did was just hunt for longs and just aggressively take profit on them. I don't want to do a whole scalping seminar though right now. I'm not really feeling it. I feel as if lower imbalance in profiles would be filled before we start bottoming and come to the end of the summer. I don't know what you mean exactly. As if lower imbalance in profiles. It's hard for me to imagine exactly what you're saying. How many shot clock violations have you had when scalping? A lot, dude. If I'm being super honest. Generally, when my scalps take longer than a couple of minutes, it's normally because I positioned too early or made some sort of mistake. It's an interesting question, GS, though. I like how you worded it with the shot clock. Do you have explanation why bear markets are always so long and bull markets are like some months of up only and then chop? I mean, if you really look at the chart, I mean, is that really the case? Hold on. Man. I guess we could go to this one. This will be clean. I mean, if you really look at the chart, is it really true to say that the majority of that bull markets are short? Look at the chart, dude. So this isn't showing full history, but I mean the full history of this cycle looked like this. Let's redraw that. So that's a bull cycle, a bear cycle, a chop cycle, a bull cycle, a bear cycle, a chop cycle, a bull cycle. It's like it's really looks to be equal time, allotments to me, if I'm being honest, right? So do I have an answer to that? Definitely not, because I don't really see it as being that way. Do you ever use Renko? I used to use Renko a lot in 2020 and 2021. I don't really use it anymore. Majority of CT speak funding is negative so long. Yeah, guys, I've definitely put out some, I don't know how much public content I've put out. I've made a lot of Paragon content for lending rates and stuff, but please understand that market, like, you know, data analytics, like funding, they require more nuance than just it's positive, so sure, it's negative, so buy, right? That's definitely not the case. You need to be considering what is the overall, you know, market trend, what does momentum look like. There's a lot of things you need to be factoring in, and I mean, liquidity plays a big role in what the funding rates look like, so I don't want to ramble about that because it's tiresome, and I've already said it a bunch of times, but please use nuance and use your fucking brain with these ideas instead of just making assumptions. Especially, don't let other people fucking think for you on these things, right? When market influencer A says funding's negative, so buy. I mean, look at how that fucking worked for them in 2022, right? There was people that said that every week in 2022, and they, you know, it didn't work. Yo, Magus, any wisdom for someone thinking of going full-time trading? Probably don't do it. Apart from the obvious money behind you, pressures, etc., anything you wish you had, wish someone had told you beforehand. All right. So, good question, Christopher. I do wish you the best of luck in your travels, but my honest opinion is that going full-time trading is just not really feasible for most people. In order to succeed with that, you basically need to have large periods where you get super lucky, I think. You know, a combination of preparation and luck, and really print during the free money seasons, and then don't lose it during the tough parts. The best thing that I can say, though, there's the obvious things that everyone says, right? Like build up experience, right? Build up capital. If you don't have a lot of money, you can't be a full-time trader. You need a lot of money because you need money to trade with, and you need money to survive off of too, which should be completely separate stacks. But the most important thing that I think I can tell you guys is income, right? So you need to figure out a way to have income streams that are separate from your trading, because that will reduce your pressure to perform. If you need to make money this month to pay your rent next month, you're gonna have a bad time. I currently have 4 businesses. That it does include my large business, which is my trading, but I have other side businesses now. Technically I have like 4.5 because I'm a part owner of one, but I don't really count that because it doesn't really make me any money month to month. Build businesses or some sort of income stream, which probably for most of you is going to be businesses, because the whole passive income thing is a meme. It doesn't really exist, because that's going to alleviate the pressure and enable you to trade because you want to, right? So for the past couple of years, I've traded because I wanted to, and I know that that has helped my performance in a big way. So I know that's not the answer anyone wants to hear, because it's not some sexy entertaining answer, but the truth is that like sustainable income is one of the things that trading lacks the most, right? It's very hard on you, especially if you have people that are dependent on you, right? If you have a wife, you have kids, your life is gonna be stressful if you try to survive off trading alone and you don't already have a lot of money or you don't have income. So I'll digress, but it's important. How do you position size and stops and scalps? So yeah, I mean, both of those are super discretionary. With scalping, I don't tend to use extremely large size by any means. It's not like I'm going to be over here scalping with $250,000, right? And depending on who you are, maybe 250K is a lot, or maybe it's not a lot depending on who you are. But I mean, I think that a lot of people on CT would probably say I'm a noob or a pussy, but a lot of the times when I'm scalping, I'm just in like the low 5 figs or mid 5 figs. I'm not scalping with anywhere near the kind of sizing that I theoretically could put behind a trade, because with altcoins, they're just not really suitable to it's not like you can go and scalp TRB with 500K right now and have it work out very well for you. It's not going to work well. So basically just undersizing is how I mostly scalp, if I'm being honest. I grossly undersize. And then for stops, everything's manual stops. So having an idea if I see this, which is normally a flow-based thing, if I see this, or if we trade towards this region, I'm wrong. And I always try to cut my trades before I actually get like hard invalidated. So manual stop outs or how I handle the stops, and I have full videos on that stuff in the Paragon. What gives you conviction for a trade to be intraday rather than a scalp? Well, they're just fully different. They're just fully separate systems, my guy. You know, first thing I'll say is that it's going to have to do with the ticker, right? I'm not going to be scalping Bitcoin or Sol. I'm going to intraday trade those. So for conviction to separate between intraday and scalp is going to be like location, for example, right? The location matters a lot more for intraday than for scalp, right? Because for intraday, for scalp, I'm trading momentum, and for intraday, I'm trading reversion. So they're just completely different systems. Location matters a lot. The asset matters a lot. The larger, you know, larger picture matters a lot more for intraday than it does for scalp, etc. I mean, area with lower volume in price action right before current price. You can see it on the weekly TPO. I hate trying to fucking imagine what you're saying. So you mean like this area probably? Current weekly or the current weekly you mean? That doesn't have a lot of volume down here. You're saying that we're going to trade through this area. I mean, I think that's I agree, but that's just because I think that we trade down to here next. Thoughts on Abarax Capital? These guys and other newer players, they're bullish on Maker and Filecoin and Solana. While I like Solana, I don't know why anyone would be overly bearish bullish long term on Filecoin. That seems wild. I don't know who those people are, so I can't say anything about them, dude. Do you have a tip on holding a winner spot trade? Someone made 15 mil with 20K on BONK and held it for 3 months without take profit. Yeah, so that guy, that's super sus, guys. That wasn't a spot trade, to be clear, right? That stuff that was really popular on Twitter, the BONK guy, that was a perp trade. That math's not mathin'. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you that right there. I've experienced being in pseudo-similar trades. Not that I've ever traded 20K to 15 million or anything like that. I'm not going to LARP, but I've traded, you know, similar coins to that. And the reason why that trade is super sus to me is because of the funding dynamic. That guy, in order to sit in that trade, so he has very little collateral, right? He's super leveraged long, and he's sitting in it for 3.5 months. It just doesn't, the math doesn't math on that, because what would happen is that guy would be paying out insane amounts of money in funding, right? And the way that, I don't trade on fake positions don't get deleveraged, exactly, right? So if that was a real position, it would have gotten auto deleveraged. I don't trade on Bybit, so I don't actually know for sure how their funding works because I haven't traded on them in a long time. But most venues, the funding payments come from, let me maybe draw this out. Right, the funding is what would kill this guy, because funding payments come from, goddamn, I can't type, from collat. Not unrealized. So this guy has a whole lot of unrealized profit, but he has no collateral to make the funding payments. So what happens is that, let's say he has 20K on the line as his collateral, and let's say he has unrealized profit of 15 mil, just for, we'll make it simple, right? All of his funding payments are coming from this 20K. So that means that every funding payment he makes, these are all minuses for each funding payment he makes, this number is going down. So it just doesn't add up, right? Because it means that every funding payment that he makes, the leverage on his 20K goes up because he has less than 20K now. So let's say he had 20K, now he has 19.5, right? Now he has 19, now he has 18, right? The leverage is going up every funding payment. This does not add up. Anybody that understands how derivatives work should immediately have said, whoa, that guy's fucking LARPing. So there you go. It's crazy to me that there was a lot of people that didn't understand that and actually supported that guy and helped feed him engagement and stuff, when all he was trying to do was probably sell something to people, and he was fucking lying the whole time. So there you go. Math, it's all about the math, and that math doesn't math. Man, I wish I had a regular job and trade on the side going full time when I was completely bald in 3 years. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are better off having jobs, but it's just a harsh reality. No one wants to admit that. How did that guy not get deleveraged? It's simple. It wasn't a real trade because fake positions don't get deleveraged, as Big Pal just said. Apparently, he paid 1.4 million in funding. Yeah, he has to be doing something right outside of what I just said, which I guess you followed up with. He might be just adding margin. He could have been adding margin. That's the only way that trade is possible, is if he added margin constantly. Magus is low-key a genius. No, I'm retardio. Guys, being able to explain that or whatever doesn't make you smart. People conflate understanding something with like actual intelligence, and they're not really the same thing. The reason why I understand that is because I've been fucking clicking buttons on these things for like 7+ years now. I've been trading crypto for almost 9. I've been trading derivatives for like over 6. So, I mean, obviously, I'm the type of person that if I get interested in something, I like hyper obsess about it and I learn a lot about it. I did that with trading for years. These days, I actually have been doing that with fitness because it's been really interesting to me, learning about how to, maximize my, min-max my fitness and stuff, etc. But anyways, we've taken a pretty serious segue on the chart in the chat, so we're gonna refocus up, come back to some Bitcoin, and then we'll get into alts and stuff. So really quickly, let's just scan the VWAPs. So yearly, still pretty bullish across the board. There's nothing really negative to say about the yearly. The quarterly, though, is a very different picture. The quarterly is pretty bearish right now, and this is one of the main reasons why I think being risk off and being conservative with things makes a lot of sense, right? So bulls are really looking for this to flip, right? If it looked like the opposite of what it looked like right now, then it would be a really good looking VWAP, but the way it looks currently, pretty bearish. So the line in the sand, right, is like 63 or 64K for bulls to reclaim. Let's look at the monthly. I don't really care about the monthly as much. It's neutral bullish. Weekly's pretty, last week was bearish. Current weekly is, neutral bearish as well. So don't really care about the weekly and the monthly, but the yearly gives a really good picture, and so does the quarterly. So those are the main ones that I focus on for higher time frame. We jump into medium time frame really quickly, and I'll re-catch up with chat here in a second. I see some shit popping up. So my main thesis for this week was that at the start of the week that we would trade up into local resistance and smack down from there. Seems to be the case. So wouldn't surprise me if how this played out was we continued to bleed the rest of the day. We bleed it, this is CPI day, so it turns into Wednesday. We'll probably be bloody at the beginning of CPI day, and then we're probably going to see this later into the CPI session. See the rebound. So on medium time frame, what that's going to look like is us, we've rejected from resistance. We'll trade down lower. We'll probably bounce and do another dead cat and then bleed down again from there. So that's how I guess things will play out. I think, medium time frame says that we should continue to go down and attack these lows. I do think that we'll get a relief rally following the CPI. We almost always get those, and I plan on trading it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot that I really want to cover on medium time frame, so that's pretty much that. Probably move over into altcoins. I'm going to start off with memes first. I'm going to show you the good memes, show you the bad memes, etc. Remember when trading Bitcoin on FX brokers in 2020 had no funding? Yeah, I never traded on unlicensed brokers like that. They didn't have funding, so I don't know. I never really traded Forex stuff in the first place. Anyways, all right. Let's get into some shitters. So first off is PEPE. I know everybody's well aware of PEPE right now. This thing is insanely strong, and has been, you know, one of my personal saviors during this this chop that we've had. This thing has definitely kept me afloat. So very thankful to PEPE. Don't really understand the underlying argument for why PEPE is strong, but I'm not the type that really needs to answer those questions. Don't really care. This thing is super strong. Pretty straightforward. Dips are for buying on anything that looks like this. WIF not as much. WIF overall looks pretty good. The trend structuring is still intact, but it's not really holding up nearly as well as PEPE was, for example. Let's get to Doge. Sucks to see the Doge has been underperforming recently. As somebody who has a pretty large bag of Doge. To be clear, I own every large cap meme except for WIF right now. I have exposure to all of them, including some shitters that aren't considered low caps or probably medium caps. I'm still not concerned about how Doge is shaping up. I would love to see it actually showing some signs of trend continuation, but the aggregate of the market's not doing that, so the significant majority of meme coins are not going to be performing all that well right now. I mean, yeah, I mean, yesterday was the day where things actually held up well. Let's look at the weekly. Oh, gotta get our music popping again. I mean, obviously, memes are basically the only thing that's doing well at all right now. If every other sector is getting underperformed, you know, is underperforming Bitcoin right now, definitely not a good look for altcoins. So yeah, I mean, I still like Doge overall. I'd like to see it change structuring more positively in the not so distant future, but we shall see. BONK doesn't look terrible either. BONK looks okay. It definitely doesn't look as good as PEPE does. FLOKI, I honestly don't know why I fucking own this coin, but I'm not gonna hate because it looks okay right now. Structurally, this looks pretty decent. SHIB, we don't really care about SHIB. This thing's a piece of shit compared to the other meme coins, so fuck this coin. I think that's pretty much all the large cap memes. Did you ever incorporate heat maps and depth of order book outside of footprints? No. Good morning, Magus. Good morning, Mortiz Spike. Everyone expecting a meme coin supercycle makes a consensus trade going forward. Yeah, I'm not. Definitely don't drink the Kool-Aid on the supercycle aspect of it. I do definitely believe that meme coins will do extremely well the rest of this cycle. However long that is. I don't think that the cycle is going to be incredibly long. It's not like we're going to run into 2026 with this one most likely. I think it'll probably be topping out in early 2025. Definitely don't drink the Kool-Aid and forget to sell your meme coins though, right? Because your meme coins are going to go up a lot and they're going to go down a lot. Yeah, we're pumping your bag, Doc. I punted some crypto, some GME crypto early yesterday. Where should I sell? Dog. You're killing me with that one. I don't fucking know. I don't know which GME, which one of the fucking 50 million Solana GMEs you bought. Forgot POPCAT. Yeah, I don't really have POPCAT on my list. Let's see where's POPCAT listed. Well, that's why I don't have it listed anywhere. All right. Fuck's my drawing tool at, yo? Okay, quick notes on POPCAT is that it doesn't look bad, that's for sure. It has a decent trend structuring to it. You know, I don't have any exposure to this. I only have dog coins, I don't have any cat coins. Personally, I'm not super interested in the cat coin narrative as much. It doesn't look terrible though. If you're long on this thing, I think you're gonna have to deal with some chop for sure in the meantime. Can I buy the spaghetti indexes as an indicator from the Paragon despite doing my own? I don't care why. Yeah, you can buy it. I mean, everybody that joins the Paragon gets access to the indicator suite for life. So there you go. TLDR on why fibs are BS. I'm not really sitting here saying they are BS. I just not something that I don't care about using them. It's a little too much of a... Fibs are a little too close to Elliott waves for me. And they're just too discretionary. OG PEPE coin? You mean the APU? Alright. A few more shitters I'll look through. Still liking Solana overall. I really wanted to see it reclaim this level right here, which it's obviously failing to do so. So Solana's probably going to take another stab at the lows. I think that the aggregate of the market's going to take another stab at the lows, guys. You got to be prepared for that. That's why I'm risk off right now. Overall, though, the trend on Solana looks really good. I mean, this was one of my biggest dubs of, you know, of this cycle so far. Was betting on Solana pretty big. I definitely have confidence that this thing will trade up higher, but for the time being, it does appear that it wants to go lower. Oh, BNB did its first, like, actual puke. BNB has been insanely strong recently. It wouldn't surprise me if this meme reverted. FET, so I really... Damn, Render getting brutalized. I really like the AI coins, you know, so FET and Render are probably the main that I've been focused on. FET is soon gonna be relisted near the end of the month with a new ticker. So definitely would recommend keeping an eye on that. Big fan of all the Solana ecosystem coins too. So JTO has been an absolute monster coin. Definitely have intentions of getting exposure to Solana coins. Yeah, we like the R-Weave as well. Being very, very patient with Tensor. Waiting patiently for the bottom to form. Eventually this thing's going to bottom out and it's going to be something I'm going to bet really big on. I do have some exposure from the airdrop. I didn't buy any initial stuff. I'm going to buy a fuck ton of Tensor though eventually. I'm just being patient with it. I don't want to buy too early and deal with 50% drawdown. Not sure if you looked at it yet, but FET, yeah, so I just did, but it's probably your message is delayed. I like FET. Pretty much every coin has been weak in the, you know, from April on though, so it definitely doesn't look good here. The trend structure is good overall and it has a good narrative to it. You just gotta be patient with something like this to let it build up a stronger base to trade up from, because as of now, you know, something that looks like this, you know, it's just gonna keep dead catting. It's back down to support basically, so it needs to build a better base to mark up from. Realistically, this thing just needs to survive until the end of May when it gets relisted and has a brand new ticker. Wasn't aware there's a million GMEs. Yeah, my understanding is there's a whole lot of them taking the 4X. Nice play, dude. What does Solana look like? It had a wing VWAP trying to keep up the market. I mean, it's just a strong coin, so that's why it's getting consistently bought. TON, yeah, so this has been a pretty interesting coin recently. I took a couple trades on this one. I didn't really share any of them publicly or anything, but I did take a couple trades on this. I like this coin overall. Trend structuring is really healthy. You know, it's got a massively high evaluation, so it's something to be mindful of in the long term, that you don't want to be a bag holder on this. It looks good though. You know, dips are for buying on coins that are trading like this. Most of the market is just tailgating Bitcoin. That is confirmed. Do you think the DEGEN will bottom out soon? I don't even know what is that, the base coin? Oh. Oof. God damn. No. This thing looks like dog shit, right? You are praying that it does the big booty bottom pattern where it takes drives and then it's a terrible way to draw it out. This does not look like the beginning of it. Like, this looks like it goes much lower here from here. So you're praying that it like does multiple drives and rounds out. But as it stands, do I think that this is bottoming anytime soon? Definitely not. This thing looks like fucking garbage. Just gonna go much lower in my opinion. How would you assess bottom formation on Tensor and wormhole type coins? It's as simple as I just look for this pattern. Right? I could incorporate some sort of flow pieces to it, but the TLDR would be looking for this pattern and then looking for the benchmarks to look like they're healthy and want to go up again too, right? As long as Bitcoin looks weak, then pretty much everything's going to keep going down. So a structure shift, you're saying higher highs, lower or higher lows. Yeah, right. So I would want to see it starting to trend upwards. Your classic upwards trend on lower time frame, I would want to see that taking place. And for now, though, the main thing you're looking for is just momentum to the downside to be lost, right? Because downside momentum, right, is strong on something that looks like this. So you need to wait for it to start to round out. So the rounding out is step, you know, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You can just join the Paragon group and get the call. Lol. The DEGEN coin looks worse than the Coinbase IPO. Alright guys, I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here in like 15 minutes or something. So squeeze in any last second shit you guys want me to cover. I got a bunch of stuff that needs to get done today, so I got to hop off here soon. INJ. Goodbye at $11. No way INJ is $11, right? Isn't that thing like $1? I don't even know where it's at on my watch list. Holy fuck, I forgot this thing was so expensive. So INJ, right? Anybody that remembers last year, we liked INJ a lot last year. In 2023, INJ was a fucking monster. 2024 INJ is dog shit. So this thing is super weak. So you're asking me, do I think that there's support at $11? Like, yes, there is support at like $11 or $10, but you're buying into something that's trending down. So there's just no point in caring about this thing, right, until it has an uptrend again. Like, the trend is clearly down on this. It's going to keep going down, and picking bottoms is just not something that I think many of you should try to do. You should just acknowledge when something's in a trend and trade the trend. Being a trend follower will help you perform a lot better than being somebody that tries to pick tops and bottoms. So definitely don't try to pick the bottom on this thing. I pray for you that that is the bottom, since I know you're going to try to pick it anyways, even though I told you not to. But yeah, picking tops and picking bottoms is for idiots, guys. Be trend followers and you'll do better. Give us a multiple so we can all join the Paragon. I already, over the past, like, just this year alone, I've already given a couple big multiples. My best trade of the year was Whiff, and I caught 240% in like a week on that thing, which is stupid. I don't know if I'll be able to outperform that the rest of the year. And my position sizing was pretty fucking big. Not a meme. You want me to compare Solana against Avalanche? Big fucking surprise there. The Avalanche is a piece of shit compared to Solana. I mean, as a Solana maxi, Solana actually has fucking real value, right? Avalanche has no user base or any sort of intrinsic on-chain value that Solana has, so fuck this coin. Render? I already did render. I didn't really say anything specifically on it, though. Render is really strong. We like this coin. I like AI in general, right? So FET and Render are the main AI coins I would be playing long-term, personally. This thing looks like it's going to trade down a lot, so I'd be mindful that it's, you know, subject to some pretty serious drawdown, but probably does something like this. Maybe not that steep, but it probably comes down a little, bounces down, builds up a base, and does this. So definitely copy this drawing and overlay it onto your own chart, and then watch this play out over the next 6 months, because that's what it's going to look like. You're welcome. The hell? Thoughts about the yearly 2023 candle without a wick? I don't think that kind of shit matters, guys. Who's going around teaching people this shit? The fact that we opened up the year and just went up? Who gives a shit? You guys got to stop thinking that you're fucking 5-dimensional chess players with wicks and things like that. I wonder who's teaching people that. I don't think that shit matters. May have to call you soon on the driveway / yard work you promised me. Think we are finally breaking down from today's mini range on Bitcoin, or selling absorbed and continuing to chop? It looks like we're breaking down, right? I mean, downside momentum initiated, reject, 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 right? So I mean, it could bounce one more time, but this does look like it's going to go lower. So that really lines up with what my plans for the week were, right, guys? I didn't think we would bounce as much as we did yesterday. I thought we would bounce, you know, and we bounced right to my area pretty much immediately, which I was kind of surprised by how quickly it did that. But moving forward, right, I think that the CPI selling is really coming in, right? This is the de-risking and the hedging beginning. I think that we'll trade down lower, and then we'll revert a lot of that after the CPI, or very close to the CPI is when the reversion will start. See pool or polytrade potential RWAs. Yeah, so my only RWA exposure is Ondo and Dusk. There are a couple others that I'm looking at, but I'm not really interested in adding on any exposure right now, right? I'm trying to play it cool and safe for the time being. No questions, just thank you. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Magus, for answering my question 40 minutes ago. No problem, dude. Have you looked at Near recently? Kinda. Thought it was at the top of one of my lists. Yeah, Near looks pretty good. Just because the way that the yearly trend is pretty like holding up nicely. It's trying to hold its yearly value area high right now. Yeah, I mean, dips are for buying on things that look like this for the most part. Is there a good way to spot accumulation or distribution early? Like you said, trend following. How do you know it's accumulation when it's sideways or distribution? That's, I mean, the only way that I could really provide insights for that stuff is going to be flow based, right? So get comfortable at reading flows. And that's the only way that I've ever had any edge on accumulation or distribution, right? Because otherwise it's just a fucking sideways range. Something else you could maybe weave into that is how far into the trend are you, right? If you're early in the trend and you go sideways, it's probably just reaccumulation to continue. If you're really far into the trend, it increases the likelihood of it being distribution. But you got to get comfortable reading flows. Does anyone still do your stream recaps on Twitter? Yeah, there's two guys that, okay, they don't do every week, but Stoic and I forget what the Wazzy's name is. They both do them for me. I think I'm gonna start doing them myself though, for engagement and likes. Well, trend trading is only subjective seasonally in crypto, where I'm not really sure what you're trying to say, right? Yeah, I know that the majority of price action is trending, right, or is ranging, right? I'm very well aware of that. I probably popularized that kind of statement in our space, but that's not when you're going to make your money, right? Just being, you guys need to be honest with yourselves and realize that even if you can trade the chop, that you're probably going to do better trading the trends. And crypto trends very, very violently. It was in silico. Efficiency, a flat bottom, and yeah, so Trip taught people that. Yeah, I don't know. I think Trip can maybe be a good resource for learning to read footprints and things like that. Maybe some market microstructure, but I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't really see him teaching people shit that's really valuable for the most part. Bearish on Raul. Should I short bananas? Never short bananas. Bananas are up only. It's a superfood. While you were out partying, I was studying wicks. Yearly can, yeah. So I knew what you meant. Yearly open candle. Like, don't think about that shit, guys. Let's not overthink these things. Thank you for your time. No problem, dude. It was a pleasure to be here. Thanks for being here, my guy. Hopefully you guys learned something. Good time to add to Doge spot bags for people who feel underexposed. Yes, from like a risk to reward structure base, it's probably okay. I'm not super interested in adding anything like that. I would much rather be late to the trend and wait for the trend to start to resume before I added personally. Did you sell your spot bags? No. Definitely not. I'm just hedged. So I'm just delta neutral right now. I have a really large short open that is designed to counteract all my spot exposure. Thanks for the stream. No problem. Simple break, dude. One last question. Do you know why liquidation events lead to automatic V reversals? Well, it's definitely not automatic, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple mechanical idea, right? So when price goes down like this, slowly and controlled, right, it shows you that there's actually liquidity on either side of the moves, and that the takers are just in control, just driving price down. When you see the opposite of that, where price wicks down quickly, all this bid liquidity is getting eaten through, and a lot of this bid liquidity is just going to say, fuck it, we're out of here, and just pull, right? Because why would they sit there and hold the line when the liquidations are coming through? So a big part of it is the fact that liquidity gets pulled on either side when volatility, right? If volatility is cyclical, right? And if volatility spikes upwards, all the liquidity in the book is going to say, fuck it, we're out of here. So the main thing is liquidity. There's also the, you know, kind of added piece around how open interest works, right? That so if price moves down, a lot of times what open interest is going to look like is open interest will go up from people shorting. It'll go down from people closing out longs. It'll go up from people shorting. And then it'll go down from those shorts getting closed out, right? So what that would look like in the price is that price going down from people opening shorts, price going down from people opening up longs, price going down from people opening up shorts, prices going up from people closing out shorts. You're welcome. I could ramble on about that for 45 minutes, but I'm just gonna say 2 main points and leave it at that for the day. Smash that like button, motherfuckers. Confirmed. Yeah, press that like button. We peaked at like 160 viewers today, and we only have 77 likes. Just getting scammed out here. You guys just come and get all the free information and then don't ever press like. It's crazy. Good guy, good stream. Not stupid and gay. Thank you. That's my main goal, is to not be stupid and gay. Appreciate the stream as always. Thanks for your threads. No problem, dude. I know it maybe sounds corny to you guys, but you guys coming out in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever, it does help make me want to do more, because a lot of the times I just get such bad engagement on posts that I think are really high value, and it's pretty discouraging at times. So I'm not sitting here saying that I need praise or anything cringe like that or need someone to hold my hand, but it is important. Like it does help me feel like I'm actually doing something positive when people tell me as such. The bookmark to like ratio. No problem, God Longus. Always bookmark, never like. Fucking Peter. Thank you, hater. Thank you, Bahamas. Are you in your 20s? Nice try, Fed. I'm in the sweet spot, but where I'm a millennial by definition, but I'm in the sweet spot where I'm half young, half old right now. A couple more years and I'll be fully old. Sorry, brother. I saw that I saw some of the chart requests and I specifically chose to skip them because I hate doing chart requests. It's really boring for me and not really going to be providing any value. Every chart request I do is one step closer to me fourth closing the stream. Thank you, Lucifer. Thank you, Berg. Fucking Peter. Copium, my guy. How about you fucking get Counter-Strike loaded up and come get clapped up? Peter, you aren't ready for the Counter-Strike. I've been going hard on Counter-Strike for... ever since we stopped playing Valorant together. Pretty much as soon as you quit Valorant, I switched over to CS, and I'm just a fucking monster right now. And a skin lord. Thanks, guys. Thank you. You ever look at order book data or trade from data from the exchange? I don't know what you mean by data from the exchange. I mean, by definition, I definitely trade from data from the exchange, right? That's like, you know, all the order flow stuff, open interest and volume analysis I do is all from the exchange. Order book data itself, not really. I trade off order book data only when I scalp. I think it's a meme for anything other than scalping. Order books and crypto are all sorts of fucked up, so they're not really going to be actionable for the most part for you guys. So yeah, skin's been going up slowly. Confirmed, yeah. It's because I'm buying them all. I'll be back this summer for sure. Gotta force the bottom through playing games. Motherfucker, you've been saying you'll be back to playing games with me for over a year now, so I'll see it when I believe it. Did you ever play CS Superhero? Oh, was that like a mod? Way back in the day, I played Counter-Strike Warcraft. Wait, Charlie's live right now? Retard. Alright. he wasn't supposed to go live this soon, I didn't think. But anyways, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop out and go watch Charlie. So I would suggest that you guys watch Charlie's stream today as well, because he's gonna be giving out discount codes, I think, for Paragon. So definitely gonna be worth paying attention and signing up. It was a mod, pretty fire. Yeah, I didn't really get super into the Counter-Strike mods back in the day. I mostly played Scouts, Knives, and just regular game modes. But anyways, alright guys, thanks for tuning into the stream this week. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys soon. Go check out Charlie's shit. Peace.